He was born Stephen Paul Jobs. The future computer icon first powered up on February 24, 1955, in San Francisco, California.
He was born out of wedlock and put up for adoption at birth. As a kid, he was very influenced by the California 1960s counterculture scene.
But Northern California isn't just a hippie paradise. It's also the epicenter of the country's growing tech industry. So, while some tune in and drop out, young Jobs finds his passion in electronics. And soon enough, word of his technological talents starts to spread. Jobs' future business partner, Steve Wozniak, is among the first to hear rumors of this local phenom.
You've got to meet Steve Jobs because he knows this digital electronics. He builds devices with flashing numbers that can count strings on a guitar and what note they're playing and things like that.
Wozniak is 5 years older than Jobs and a tech prodigy in his own right. He and Jobs quickly bond over their love of electronics and Bob Dylan.
We not only talked about what we were able to do, the technology we understood, and where we thought it might go, but we talked about, philosophies of life, and we just became, best friends for a long time.
It's the fall of 1972, and Jobs enrolls at Reed College in Portland, Oregon. But, as he explains in his 2005 commencement speech at Stanford University, college, for him, seems a waste.
I had no idea what I wanted to do with my life, and no idea how college was going to help me figure it out. And here I was, spending all the money my parents had saved their entire life. So I decided to drop out and trust that it would all work out okay.
He experimented with different aspects of that kind of countercultural seeking. He was interested in Zen Buddhism. He made a pilgrimage to India to see a guru.
When Jobs returns to California in 1974, he's working a low-paying job as a technician at Atari, at the time the hottest video game company on the planet. He also reconnects with Steve Wozniak, or Woz, and the two set out to exploit their substantial tech knowledge. Atari founder Nolan Bushnell offers Jobs a cash bonus if he can design a circuit board for the hit game Breakout using minimal computer chips.
I didn't realize that he was sort of a team, so whenever I'd sign something to Jobs, he and Woz would work it out.
Wozniak completes the task in 4 days. The duo seems unstoppable. But as Wozniak writes in his autobiography, when Jobs gets the bonus he promised to split, he lies to Wozniak about how much it was, shortchanging his friend at least a couple of $100. By the time Wozniak finds out, the two are on to bigger ventures. In 1975, electronics junkies in Silicon Valley are beginning to buzz about personal computers.
Personal computing was still somewhat of an oxymoron. The people who had computers were universities and banks and large corporations.
And those few brilliant hobbyists who could do it themselves. Woz creates his own circuit board and presents it to Jobs.
He recognized that what I had was really incredible, and he said, let's start a little company of our own, once in our life, two best friends.
His vision was to take these devices and make them into consumer products, and so to do that, they had to be simplified.
To scrape together enough money to mass-produce the boards, Jobs and Wozniak sell their most valuable possessions and set up shop in Jobs' parents' garage. As Wozniak and some friends assemble the boards for what will become the Apple I, Jobs makes his first foray into marketing.
He didn't have the technical skill of Wozniak, but he had the networking skills and the people skills to get their little enterprise off the ground.
Jobs quickly sells 50 Apple I's to a small computer store and immediately pushes Wozniak to improve upon the board.
Steve is never satisfied. He's always moving on to the next thing. He is not interested in protecting his old businesses. He wants to rip them down with a sledgehammer and put something in its place.
Wozniak goes to work and emerges months later with a prototype circuit board for the Apple II. It's far more advanced than its predecessor.
The idea that computers can have color, they can have graphics, so they can play like arcade games. They can even have pixels, individual dots on the screen for higher resolution pictures that look more natural.
Steve insisted it have a nice case, and they made fun of him for that because it was like, nice case, you're crazy, who cares about the case?
He also insists that each Apple II come equipped with a built-in keyboard and power supply, branded with Apple's colorful new logo, every computer emerging from its box ready to use.
Steve came to the computer industry when people had to solder the components onto the bare motherboards and put it together yourself on the kitchen table. He was one of the first to say, we're designing a product for consumers who just want something that's ready to go.